what was that like for you then when you started making music videos and you suddenly were collaborating with Madonna or the Rolling Stones or these giant cultural musical figures? What would the interaction be in creating the music video with someone like that?
Well, I actually love. I mean, I don't know what music videos are like now, but at that time they were. It was kind of amazing and great because it was like the movie star and the head of the studio were the same people. So you were always aligned. You know what I mean? It's not like you were. It's not like you had to. You didn't have to go talk to Brad Gray and then go back and deliver the bad news to Tom Cruise. You didn't. You weren't. It was like it was their money, and so it was a very direct relationship. And I think one of the things that I learned distinctly was people who become ridiculously famous usually have a pretty good idea of what they're good at, and they know kind of what their best side is. They know how to and if you could augment that and you could work with them to find a new facet to it, which I always looked at as sort of that was my job, was not only you had a song, right? They gave you a song and you would listen to the song and you come up with an idea and then you would go and you'd sit with them and you would say, here's sort of what I want to do. And they would say, yeah, I like that, but I'm a little, I don't want it to have too much story in it. I'm not really an actor. I really just want to sing and I want to get out early and I want to be done by 3 and I'm gonna, so you have that whole, all the kind of movie star negotiation is happening at the level of the person who's financing it. So it's a very direct kind of, you learn to really, you learned how to seduce your financier. You could say, look, and I wasn't tough, but I was pretty, to me it was very simple. It was like either we agree on what it is we're gonna do or we don't, but it's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna trick you into doing something you don't wanna do, which has served me well. My whole thing has always been in dealing with anybody who's gonna finance something is, let me tell you the bad news up front. It's gonna be expensive, it's gonna take a long time. Like on Social Network, this is not a little movie that could, it's not like people didn't appreciate the script. Like the studio read it and said, we love this. If you will make this, we'll be so happy. Now, it was a bunch of 25-year-olds in a kind of weird little outsider tale of it wasn't really the tech story. It was really kind of whether or not the actors worked and the emotion of it worked. That was the only hope that we had, that people would be interested in the movie. So it wasn't like they said, hey, spend what you want, doesn't matter. And so there were budget constraints, but I am very specific about what it is that I want and need, and so I was able to sit down and say, my priority here is to have the best possible actors in each of these roles and give them the time that it's going to take to explore every facet and nuance of what Aaron's writing about. And I can't shoot this movie in 25 days. Some people can shoot movies in 25 days. I can't. I need the time to kind of go, try it this way or try it that way or think about it this way. And that was, to me, that was the production value of it. We're gonna have to build sets because we're not gonna be able to shoot in Harvard dorms. That doesn't make any sense. And you're certainly not gonna be able to do it for 72 days. So I need a 72-day schedule, and that's the bad news. And then you price it out, and the price was $40 million rather than the 25 or whatever they wanted to spend on it. And then you haggle, and at the end they said, go, do it.
What you say about working with the music stars who know what they're good at and their good angles and so on relates a bit now to the things I've heard and read about shooting some of the scenes in Social Network and some of your other films probably, where you're doing a lot of takes. And whenever you talk about takes and you say a lot of takes, people kind of, oh my God, 50 takes, 90 takes and so on. But to go beyond that, what I understand is you were doing those takes to break down the preconceptions that the actors have about the way they might look or the way they might have come off in a scene. And I'm just wondering if you can walk us through that a little bit. What is it really like for you going through dozens of takes, and what are you looking for, and what are you getting as you go through to take
Well-
20 and take 50 and take 80? What's the whole process of a day like that where you're doing so many takes?
But you kind of have to get through that thing where they go, I'm presenting you with what my impression is, or what my, and you know, most big actors who have years and years of experience doing that, that's what they do. They're going to come to present you their thing, and they're going to work within the confines of how, you know, the actual location that you're going to be in, and where you want to put the camera, and what you want the other people to do, but they're going to kind of, they have their thing. And 25-year-old actors who've made 2 movies are going to do the same thing. And my process has always been, that's great, and I want that, and I encourage you to do your homework. I encourage you to have an opinion and a point of view. Now, I also want to take you to a place where you know the room so well that when you go to when you toss your book bag down and turn on your computers and walk across the room and open the refrigerator and take a bottle of beer out, it looks like you've done it 1,000 times. Now, we don't have to do it 1,000 times, but we may have to do it 22 times to make it look like you've done it 1,000 times. To me, it's important that people, the characters occupy space, if it's supposed to be something that they're familiar with, that it really looks lived in, worn in, that conversations between 2 friends or conversations between 2 twin brothers that is supposed to overlap, they have to get to a point where they not only they can finish each other's sentences, they are finishing each other's sentences, and they're the same guy. So you have to get the person who's playing the over the shoulder, who's not the same actor, to be able to jump in at the right point where you're supposed to, and you're watching, and I'm always watching for, you know, first the technical, like, then I'm looking for the believable, and then I'm looking for the connection. You know, I'm looking for the thing that you go, oh, that was surprising and interesting and weird. I hadn't thought of that. I'm looking for the mistake that makes it look somehow like it just happened, you know. So I want to get beyond. I don't want it to look like you just got the sides and you're just off book and now you're ready to go. I want it to look like you know the space, you know where it is you're going. You're totally comfortable with the teacup and where you're going to put the honey in and how that's going to work. I want to get beyond that, and sometimes that takes a long time. You know, I mean, there's people. I mean, Tilda Swinton is, you know, take 3, take 4. Looks like she's done it 1,000 times. You don't have to do that with certain people, but others, you want to get them beyond. And I think Mark Ruffalo. I mean, those are 2 actors that they don't care if you shoot 1,000 takes of them. They're like, but they're going to come in having an idea of what it, bare kind of broad brushstroke idea of what it is they're going to do, and then they're just going to jump off a cliff with you.